Remember that you are water. Cry, cleanse, flow, and let go. Remember that you are fire. Burn, tame, adapt, and ignite. Remember that you are air. Observe, breathe, focus, and decide. Remember that you are earth. Ground, give, build, and heal. And remember that you are spirit. Connect, listen, know, and be still.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's just so wonderful to be here with all of you. All of you and all of you, right? Because we know our space is full. And what a marvelous prayer we just heard in that music. May the rest of your lives be the best of your lives. Such a prayer. And so today, as we allow ourselves, I invite you to allow yourself to feel into that prayer, to feel into the one energy we are in together, no matter if we are in Switzerland or New Jersey or England or California, we are in one world by our decision to be in this space together right now. With that prayer, with that hope, because whether or not you think someone dragged you here for an experience, something inside of you chose to be here. And what is that about? It's about that longing that we just heard in that song. It's about the longing that's deep inside of us for that living into that union that already exists, but here on earth we forget that we are in one world together, that we have never been separated from the divine. So hard some days to live into that. How do we know? How do we live without doubt? That's the work. To have increasing moments of living in the certainty. So many philosophers and scientists and kitchen table theorists have imagined, have known where that information is. It's already inside of us. If you look at the science of it, the tiny quantum particles that scientists tell us make us energy, that nothing is static in the universe, that everything is in motion, even inside of us, and every tiny particle inside of us has that divinity, has that promise, that knowledge, that with only a bit of a thought, we can tap into. And so what stops us? The fear, the challenges of the daily physical life. But if we ride that fear, like the wave that our energy creates, we cannot help but come back to the promise within each one of ourselves. Because they too are longing for our attention to help us remember the unity from which we come, from which we are already in, and where we exist. There are also so many symbols of progression. Some religions talk about the gateway or the doorway, evolution. It doesn't matter what we call it. What matters is that we try to engage our consciousness in recognizing that power, that we are always trying And do not give into that judgment, that self-judgment, if you can, of confining that journey, of saying, I didn't do it good enough, because all that does is shut down your process. But if that happens, my friends, do not worry, because that tiny spark in each one of your tiny particles that make up your entire self will rise up again at another time to create that spark, to ignite your whole being into trying again. How that shows up is so individual. You may not recognize it in someone else. You may not recognize it in yourself. And yet, others will notice. And some days you will notice. Because that is how the universe works towards balance. Because the purest balance that exists in the universe is those glimmers, those moments when we know, we feel, we are that perfection of physical and spiritual, recognizing the power of what we can do, be, impact, when we know we are one. When we know even in our individual personalities, we are part of a much larger vine of connection, that you are simply and completely and beautifully a flower on that vine. Like a tree whose roots go down into the earth and touch the soil that touches other things. How could anything in this universe not be in connection when we pause to think about it? The universal invitation is always in play, because that's how energy works. How are your invitations, your gateways, your doorways showing up? Spirit tells us that they are always offering us those moments. Sometimes physical life is so hard we miss them, but do not be sad, because it will always show up in another way. You merely have to recognize that you are part of that energy. Somewhere inside of you, it is pulsing. And so unconsciously, it is happening. Imagine if you can bring that unconscious knowing more fully into your daily lives, my friend. Imagine the peace, the hope, the beauty you will always be aware of. As you consider that, I remind you that humanity has always had challenges, that these days may seem very scary, and yet humanity has triumphed against far worse because of that energy within you, because of that love that's in each and every particle of our beings that is always striving to reach the light, to know the oxygen of our moment, to breathe more deeply. All of this is at work right now as the earth battles itself, as humanity, people battle each other with this energy of our being, of physical and spiritual, always working for that ultimate harmony. It cannot help itself for that energy. It cannot help but triumph eventually. And so the more each one of us is willing to do a little more work, try a little harder, breathe a little more deeply to allow that energy to be activated within you, the more that balance has energy itself, the more we can increase the speed at which the light. These are not simply words, my friend. I can hear some of you saying, but look at what has happened. But look at what is already happening, what has been happening since the beginning of the universe. This moment in our physical lives can feel like it is all that there is, but it is not. You are part of an enormous journey. You have come from the enormity of love and consciousness. We are being called to do our part, to bring more love into the world, to bring that awareness, that peace, that tranquility, that love above all is possible and is what will always triumph and is what is supposed to be. If you can allow yourself just a few extra moments each day, does not have to be must meditate 20 minutes 3 times a day or write 5 pages in your journal. It is simply a few extra thoughts each day to remember the energy that is already within you. To put out even just one good thought to someone else, you are helping that energy strengthen and get more and more out into the world, of this world, part of the one world. Do you not see your importance? Each one of you here today is important because you are part of the one energy. Breathe into that certainty. Allow yourself with your breath to bring that energy and that love fully into your being. As you do that and exercise that certainty, you gain strength. You gain the ability to hold it more and more. So I hope as I say that, my friends, you feel more certain of your importance. You feel more certain that you are loved because the universe loves you, just as your family, your team loves you. It is all part of that larger unity of life. Let yourself breathe into it, know it, feel it. For yourself, for your neighbors, for your community, for the world, for the universe that you are already part of. And that is how we shall move forward together. And that is how, my friends, the darkness will recede and the light will be all that is known. Thank you for letting me share these words.